there, Megan Jansen with Employee Wellness Solutions Network. We're still on a mission to elevate the profile and conversation around employee wellness and corporate wellness. I'm thrilled to be speaking today with Nancy Gowan. Nancy is a registered occupational therapist. She's also the president of Gowan Consulting. Hey, Nancy, thanks so much for chatting today.
Hi, Megan. It's great to be here.
Nancy, you're an expert. You've been in this industry for a long time as well. And I'm really excited to talk about really some of your professional insights pertaining specifically to the psychological health and safety standard. Would we be able to start off with that and maybe just share what that means for organizations?
Sure, that would be great, Megan. The Psychological Health and Safety Standards in the Workplace was created in 2013. And it's a voluntary standard that the Mental Health Commission worked with CSA to develop and look at 13 psychological risk factors that increase the risk that someone might have a health and safety issue, a mental health issue, things that an organization would need to consider to be able to help them to have a healthy workplace, have an inviting workplace, an engaged workplace. And those 13 factors really range all the way from talking about the corporate culture, the recognition programs, workload, how decisions are made, how much autonomy employees have, even some of the physical risk factors that might lead to an individual having a health and safety risk that would impact your mental health. And these risk factors were collaboratively created with employers, with specialists in the field, to be able to really look at what can a business do to help to reduce that risk. And it's not the law, but it has led to many different decisions. So for example, in Ontario, Canada, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board is now recognizing chronic mental stress, some of the issues that might be impacting employees from the workplace related to those stressors, harassment, respect and civility in the workplace. So those standards have come to be recognized as some pretty important national standards that employers should be considering as a business to be able to reduce their risk for employees not being able to be productive or becoming unwell.
Well, and then that really lends that now discussion point on the benefits for organizations to have psychologically well employees. So share some benefits to this as you've seen it.
Well, as you know, not many organizations can perform without employees. And part of our health is our mental health, our psychological health. And we gain a lot from being in the workplace, our self-image, our productivity, our routine, our social interaction. There's so much that we get from work. And as a business, it can cost you billions of dollars in sales, in productivity, when an employee is unable to be productive because of those risk factors. And just an example, studies have been done to show that $51 billion a year are spent by Canadian businesses because of employee mental health. And so that's a pretty significant figure that many employers would like to probably put to their bottom line.
Sure.
And we also know that it's not just absence. So about $16.6 billion is spent in absence. But if we look at those employees who are struggling at work, disengaged, not their best self at work because of those psychological risks, we can multiply that factor by, the statistics are showing us about 7.5 times. So that 16.6 billion turns out to be $124.5 billion that businesses are losing from being able to not get their best from that employee, and those employees being unwell, spinning wheels at work, and not having the resources that they need to be healthy and well.
Is that the word presenteeism we hear in our industry, would that be something that would really dictate one of those costs that you just spoke about?
So the presenteeism, that's the $124 billion. It's that employee who comes to work, tries hard to do their work, but because of not feeling safe, because of the risk of the workload, not being recognized, not being engaged, that employee is not able to produce the way that they would normally do. And so their thought gets disorganized, they're stressed at work, they're thinking about other things, and the employer has an employee that is sitting there but not producing that work. So that presenteeism is that inability to really perform because of those mental stressors or physical stressors around you.
Nancy, talk about some easy successes organizations might have done to support employee mental health.
Well, I think one of the things that we've seen is the importance of manager support. So you can put all these fancy programs in place. You can put in EAP programs, you can put in fitness, and you can put in all of these yoga programs, mindfulness, those kinds of things for the employee. But ultimately, if the manager support is not there for that employee, that is one of the key issues that impacts whether that employee can take advantage of those processes or those programs, but also whether they feel like they can come to their manager and say, I'm having a tough time today, and I really want to have some different support. And if that manager is supportive, that employee is going to feel comfortable to come and ask for that support early on before they get into a fairly serious struggle. So we've seen manager training around how to give that support as an easy win, that helping managers to know what to say, being comfortable with that conversation, really truly engaging that employee in a good conversation and saying, it's okay, bring your whole self to work and I'll support you.
And not be afraid to talk about it.
Right, and that stigma still exists, both the self-stigma, but also the stigma from others. So the manager training, we've found, we've done a fairly large rollout of many manager training programs, and managers have said, you know what, I just didn't know what to say, and now I'm comfortable with what can I say, what work adjustments can I provide. So I think that's a big win, and some of the municipalities that we've rolled that out to, the managers have felt that conversation can happen, and even if it's about something that's not related to that employee's mental health, but it's about anything to do with work, to do with what's going on with that employee, that manager can have a better conversation and can offer some good work adjustments right immediately before losing someone to going off work because they're unwell.
Nancy, what would be, in your opinion, maybe some of the challenges employers have in embarking on a psychologically well workplace?
Well, because the 13 risks involve the whole organization, it seems overwhelming. It seems like I need to really change everything from start to finish on how I've organized my work, how I recognize people, how I hire people, how I train my managers. And it is a fairly comprehensive standard, but there really are some simple things that employers can do. Just respecting kind of that conversation with the employee, having those resources available to them to get some help when they're struggling. The other challenge is we are in a high-paced world. Email, voicemail, cell phones with us all the time, text messaging, social media. We spend, we say this is all flexible to be able to have your technology with you, but we've lost that balance. And employers are really looking for that accessibility to the employee, but we're losing our boundaries. And many employees are struggling with that balance piece, that ability to say, you know what, I'd love to support you, but I can't be available every night at midnight. You know, I need to get my sleep. So can we rotate those things on emergency jobs? Can we do things that are help the employer to understand that, yes, you do need to have productivity, but you're not going to get productivity by continuing to have those same individuals overstressed. I heard an interesting notion in one of the recent conferences to say that when we are anxious and when we are stressed, we actually lose 35% of our cognitive capabilities for the next 3 to 5 minutes, which was a significant thing that if managers knew that, they would be able to recognize when an employee is maybe needing some time before they make a decision, needing some time away, needing some balance in their life, and recognizing that making those decisions in a stressed environment is not going to be good decisions for anyone. So, yeah.
Stress is
I talk around that whole.
Oh, I know.
They're passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the stress, I mean, stress is such a big deal that we're seeing everywhere. And you really lent some really great suggestions and ideas on helping to change up the conversation for more allowances, less, maybe having boundaries, as you had suggested, on different things and different connectivities and being available at all hours of the day or night. So those are really great suggestions. Nancy, in your opinion, when's the best time to start? Do we wait until there's a problem, or is the better option really getting started as soon as possible?
Well, we always know that prevention is your best cure. And so the sooner that you can even take one step, the better it's going to be overall to be able to keep that momentum going. So don't wait. If someone goes off work, it's going to take a lot longer to have them come back into the workplace and feel comfortable with that. So support the employees you have beside you right there. Create a culture and an environment of openness and support. And be able to really say, you know what, even if I just do one thing today and one thing each day towards a more psychologically healthy workplace, then I'm taking the right steps. I don't have to change. I don't have to do an organizational improvement, a whole redesign. One step each day is going to create an environment and a culture that's going to be better for your employees than it was yesterday.
Well said. Just turn the dial, turn the needle a little bit each day, and small successes build upon others, and soon you see the momentum and the culture starting to shift. Well said. Right. Nancy, any last thoughts as we tie up our discussion today?
I think it's just important for businesses to understand that, they do need to make money, right? But the only way they make money is with healthy and productive employees, and recognizing that that conversation has to start now to be able to improve our productivity. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nancy, for all of your insights today. I've really appreciated you and your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Megan. Take care.